Hey, what you reading for?
Hello, my name is Michael. I talk about books, literary, horror, classics, and contemporary. I try to put out about 2 videos a week, sometimes 3. And after 3 months on BookTube, I've decided I should do the BookTube Newbie Challenge, which gives me the opportunity to introduce myself to the BookTube community. You'll get to know me and the channel a little better. The tag consists of 9 questions. After the tag, I will introduce you to my cat Zvyezda, and I will tell you the story about how she got her name. But I'll do that after the tag, so that'll give you an incentive to watch the whole video. And if you do end up liking the video, I encourage you to hit like and subscribe and comment. Right now, I will throw to an intro sequence featuring the music of one of my favorite composers, John Adams, and I'll see you on the other side to do the BookTube Newbie Tag. The first question asks, why did I start a BookTube channel? Well, over the summer, I moved from the big city of Budapest, Hungary. I moved to a small beachside town in the south of France. There isn't really much to do here besides the beach, and I don't know anybody. So I figured starting a BookTube channel would give me a creative outlet, and it would give me a chance to interact with people. Also, I am a writer, and I signed a publishing contract earlier this year, so I figured I would build a platform to do cross-promotional things with the other authors in the publisher's catalog. I did a few videos like that. I did a few interviews with authors from the publishing house. And I enjoyed making those videos, but ultimately that's not enough to sustain a whole channel. And I prefer talking about books and prefer interacting with people. I do hope to eventually continue to interview authors, but to be honest with you, first I need to get a higher subscriber count before I feel comfortable asking authors for interviews. The interviews I did earlier, they were authors from the same publishing house that published my books, so it would have been weird for them to say no. But so that was the original intent, although I have pivoted from that since. The second question is, hello Zvyezda. The second question is, what fun or unique things do I bring to BookTube? Well, I talk about what I read, and I give my opinions of what I read, my reactions. And I do try to keep it positive, so if I don't like a book, I generally won't talk about it. But I do like to do rankings, so invariably there will be 1 or 2 books that figure at the bottom of the ranking that I'll have to talk about. In that case, I'll keep it brief. But I just give my honest opinions based on my own experience, my own background, and which is not uncommon on BookTube. There are thousands of booktubers who do this, but we are all individuals, we are all unique, so I bring my own unique perspective. As for fun, I have a cat, firstly, and cats are fun. I also have a background in comedy writing. Before moving to this small beachside town in the south of France, I was living in Central Europe, spending time between Budapest, Hungary, Warsaw, Poland, Krakow, Poland. And especially in the pre-pandemic times, I was putting on comedy shows. I wrote and performed 4 one-man shows, and I led a troupe of sketch comedy writers and radio theater, that sort of thing. So I was thinking that if I start a BookTube channel, I would have the opportunity to incorporate some of my comedy writing into the videos I create. I did try that in a few videos, and to be honest with you, those videos did not do very well. It's true that my sense of humor is a bit strange, and perhaps it doesn't translate well to this medium. I don't know. But I'm still in the experimentation phase. But I think that I will continue to try to incorporate some of my comedy writing background or some of my sense of humor, my strange sense of humor. I'll try to inject that into my videos. We'll see how that goes, right? Next question. Why do I love reading? Well, it quiets the conniving voices in my head. That's one thing. So when I'm reading, I don't hear all that chatter going on in my head, which is nice. Ensuite, what book or series got you into reading? I think readers in general start at an early age. At least that was the case for me. I remember what I remember first about loving to read was comic books and graphic novels, such as these, for example. Do you remember these? Asterix et Obelix. These were a big part of my childhood. This is my first memory of reading. It comes from these books. Look at that. Oh, the nostalgia. And from here, I remember liking the choose your own adventure books, like sci-fi. Let's take a look at a few more. Sci-fi, adventure, action sort of thing. And then later on, as a teenager, I remember really liking Khalil Gibran, the Lebanese-American poet, and Edgar Allan Poe. Those two authors in particular were big influences on me early on in my life as a reader. Next question asks, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Well, maybe my favorite booktubers are watching this video. I would say that I do not have a good idea of why a particular video does well and why others do not. Case in point, the last video I uploaded, which was my September reading wrap-up, I think it's one of my best videos. I think it's one of my most entertaining. It is also the video that has performed the worst. And I'd like to know why. I generally post around 10 a.m., 11 a.m. France time. Is there a better time to post? Does that matter? And I think for the YouTube algorithm things, I think I do pretty well. I leave lengthy descriptions. I use tags. I think my thumbnails are okay. But apparently I'm doing something wrong, or I'm not doing something I should be doing. And I would like to know what that is, because I would like to have more success, obviously. We'll see. I'm still in the experimentation phase, and there is quite a steep learning curve. Next question. What challenges or hurdles did I experience when I started my BookTube channel? Well, firstly, there is the technical challenge, because anything that has a button on it is a mystery to me. Anything involving uploading, downloading, updating, any kind of dating actually, software, hardware, apps, add-ons, and all that alchemy sends me into a panic. So that was quite a hurdle I needed to overcome, and still do. Also, I have a lazy eye, which you may have noticed. So when I made my first video and I watched it back, I panicked. I said, well, I can't post this. I have a lazy eye. I can't expose this to the world. Well, that's too bad. I guess there goes my BookTube career, right? So I had to get past that. I had to just get over myself and just do it. which was not easy. But once I posted the first video, then it gets easier and easier to post. So there was that. Next question. Where do I like to read? Well, when I lived in the big city, I liked to read on public transport, the tram and the metro. There isn't that sort of thing here. So I generally read at home and on my laptop. I do have physical books that I take, for example, to the beach. I'm also the kind of guy that I have to take a book with me everywhere I go. In case I find myself with a few minutes of spare time, I need something to read, and lest I be left alone with my thoughts. That would be dramatic. I can't let that happen. So I will take a book with me, for example, to the supermarket. If I'm in queue, I have a minute or two. I can read a page or two instead of thinking about something. I am also the kind of guy that I will read while I am walking somewhere. So here, in this small town, there's not much traffic, so I can get away with that. I'll read while I walk to the beach. I'll read 5 or 6 pages while I walk there, and then read 15 or 20 pages at the beach, read another 5 or 6 on the way back. I'll read on the way to the supermarket. There isn't much traffic, but there are always a cyclist whizzing by me while I have my nose in the book. Next question. What kind of books do I like to read? Well, I do gravitate towards dark and disturbing books. And that has not changed even when I've started reading books at the beach. I like it dark, and so now I'm reading these dark, disturbing tales in a bright, peaceful, beautiful surroundings. I read exclusively fiction. I never read nonfiction. I have a strong aversion to reality. If ever I am confronted with reality, I am likely to have an allergic reaction. So I try to avoid reality whenever possible. So no nonfiction. I will read generally about 50% of what I read is literary fiction, 40% horror, another 20% everything else, which I know doesn't add up to 100, but like I said, I'm not interested in reality. I also pay attention to literary prizes, literary awards, notably the August Derleth Award, which is for Best Horror Novel of the Year, given out by the British Fantasy Society, and the Women's Prize for Fiction. Those two awards in particular, they tend to align with my tastes as a reader. So if, for example, a book that wins the Women's Prize for Fiction, I'll buy it without knowing anything about. And 9 times out of 10, I end up loving it. The Booker Prize, Booker International Prize, that sort of thing. It's a good way for me to discover new writers and discover new books, and also to keep up to date on what the reading community is interested in, and trends in the publishing industry. Next question is, that is the last question. What does my book collection look like? Well, I do not have a book collection. I do not keep my books. I am constantly moving from country to country, so I need to travel light. When I finish a book, I will try to give it away to someone I think will like it. If I don't know anyone I think will like that book, I'll just donate it to the local library. I do not keep my books. In fact, these books here are not mine, actually, but they're just here. And I thought I'd show them to you. It worked out perfectly. I would like to have a book collection, but first I need to establish a home, and I haven't even chosen the country yet. So there it is. That's the newbie book tag. you have an idea of who I am, what this channel is about. To get a better idea, you could check out some of my videos. And I'd love to hear your reaction. I'd love to hear what you think about my answers, or just stop by the comment section and say hi. I did promise to introduce you to my cat, Zvyezda, and I will do that now. She is 9 years old. And Zvyezda means star in Slavic languages. So it means star in Russian, Bulgarian, Serbian, Bosnian, Slovenian, many other languages like that. And Zvyezda, do you want to say hi, Zvyezda? Zvyezda is from Normandy. And I had a friend of a friend of a friend who found her when she was a day or two old. He found her and her brother. Apparently his dog, this friend of a friend, his dog had killed her mother. So he had these two newborn kittens, didn't know what to do with them. He tried to find a home for them, and I said, and I will never refuse a cat in need. So I took Zvyezda. And I was living in Paris at the time, so when I went to pick her up, this guy, he drove me back to Paris, and we were making small talk in the car. Now the word in French for star is étoile, but when we are talking about star as in rock star or pop star, things like that, we use the English word star. So we're making small talk, and he tells me that she will be the star of the house. Elle va être la star de la maison. So the word star just jumped out at me because it was spoken in a foreign language. So I decided I would call her Star. Except I think that cats should have Russian names, because for me, Russian is a beautiful, exotic, and graceful language, just like a cat.